great to chat to you, man, and finally get to have a conversation around the music that we're playing on the radio. And I think it's major key because more of your fans are now going to get a better understanding to the person that you are and the music that we're playing. But you're not a foreigner to the South African market, man. You've headlined the Sunset Fest in 2019.
Yeah.
You know, when you came to South Africa, some of the fondest memories you still relive when you think of SA. What comes up with mind?
Well, I guess when I was last there doing the Sunset Festival, I was only there for 24 hours, but it was a good 24 hours because I did the show.
Yeah.
I kind of went out in the town. I ended up in some weird clubs at strange hours of the day, and I kind of went straight from there to the back to Europe to continue the tour. And I think, yeah, it was just an all-round great 24 hours.
Are we being screened by Sebby? I was waiting for your follow-up question. I'm so sorry about that.
Yes.
Besides the Corona Sunset Festival, did you have any preconceived notions about South Africa? And not asking from a point of ignorance, but like, did you have any expectation before you got here?
I'm not sure I really knew what to expect. I know I went to Johannesburg back when I was, I think, maybe 15, because I have some family friends that live there, and I got to really explore the city then. So, yeah, I kind of know what South Africa's about, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah. And some of the music that caught your attention when you were this side, do you remember any sounds?
Well, obviously, Black Coffee is a big one. I've actually been working with him a bit, so yeah. So maybe there might be something in the works that might or may not be coming out. Can't tell you.
Yeah.
But, there is. But yeah, I just love that. There's also a band called, I think, Beatenberg. I think they're from SA. And I love them. I absolutely love them. So yeah, no, it's good. I like it. I like the general vibe.
Yeah.
I don't think people really understand what electronic music is. What would you say the sound is, like sonically, if you had to describe it? But also, what would you say are the fundamentals of the electronic genre?
Well, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because there's so many different subgenres. You got the really dancey house stuff. You have more of the indie stuff, more of the songs. And I think, with me personally, obviously, I've done some house records here and there with Camel Fat and all this stuff. But also, I very much come from an indie background. So for me, electronic music is kind of just another instrument, so that I'm not just like, it's not just guitar or piano or everything. You have kind of all of these sounds at your disposal. The possibilities are kind of endless. So with me, that's how I kind of approach it. But I guess, that's what I love about it. You can do so many different things, make so many different sounds with a computer.
Yeah.
That is so crazy, and one cannot ignore your lyrical content. I'm always a fan of the stuff that you talk about, and I'll bring something about you. As much as the song was a radio smash, was a feel-good song, the lyrics were such a strong component of the song. You know, was that inspired by your own personal experience, or it's something that you wrote in third person?
Kind of a bit of both. Like, I kind of was taking it from my own experience, and originally the song was more about, if I carry on a destructive path, then I guess that could lead to really troublesome times. It was kind of a message to myself to make sure that I don't. But the song really took on another meaning when the video came out, and then the video is all about this guy that goes into like a group therapy session. He doesn't want to open up. It's a group of men that kind of are very I don't know, inside their own heads they don't want to open up or show their true selves, and I think that's what the song ended up kind of meaning after the video. And I think that was really important for raising awareness of men's mental health and that kind of stuff too.
I think that's powerful.
It is powerful because I don't think it's really spoken about in society as a whole. But you finished working on this record probably around 2017, if I'm not mistaken, and then Rudimental just gave it a different vibe when it came to production. How was it like working with Rudimental? Because this is not the first time you've worked with them, and what is the synergy that's there? What makes you keep going back?
So I guess with Rudimental, I've known them for absolutely ages. So when I first ever got into the music industry, I was with Black Butter Records, and so were they. So I remember I was invited to these cool music parties for the first time in my life, and they were kind of like the big guys on the label, the guys that have kind of proven themselves already. And I think, yeah, I was hanging around with them for ages. We kept in touch, but there was really nothing that we were working on together until I had this song. I didn't really know what to do with it, so I thought, you know what, let's see if the guys can do it. And yeah, we ended up with this great song, and I'm so glad that we did that.
Yeah.
With Elderbrook mentioning Rudimental, you've worked with some of the biggest names, man. Like when it comes to artists and even producers, Camel Fat, y'all did Coca-Cola for me is like a dope ass song. Clean Bandits, Gorgeous City, Gorgeous City. Like I can go on and on and on. Who has been your favorite? Be it an artist, be it a producer, from synergy to possibly having a relationship outside of the music. Of all the artists you've worked with, who has become a friend?
Well, obviously I keep in touch with the Camel Fat guys. I mean, that was such a big moment, I think, for both of our careers that we couldn't not keep in touch, really. And we've actually been writing a lot since then. And I've written a song that I believe is going on their album. So there's going to be an Elderbrook and Camel Fat Part 2, which is exciting. I don't know. I did a song with Hayden James, an Australian producer, and I'm really proud of that one. It's just a really lovely song. We've kept in touch as well. So yeah, it's I don't know. You meet people all over the world, and then you kind of maybe don't speak for a year, 2 years, and then you see each other and you're back working again, just depending on where you are. But that's why it's been a bit weird in this lockdown, because obviously I haven't been able to go to all these places. So I've kind of been Zooming with people and trying to work like that. And I think, I've made a lot of music with people over Zoom in the last 6 months, which is weird.
Wow. How does that work?
In a strange way. In a strange way. But yeah, one of the songs on my album, My House, was a collaboration that was back and forth. It just took absolutely ages though, because obviously you send something, they send it back. He was based in LA, so then he was asleep when I was awake. But yeah, also the song with Martin Garrix that I've had out recently. That was all done online. I've never met the man. So it's a strange and weird and wonderful new way of working, isn't it?
Yeah, man, that is crazy. But now that you bring up Zoom, and I know also with Rudimental, the first time you did Something About You was a back and forth thing, like you just said right now with Martin Garrix. Your ideal situation, is it being in studio with the artist, maybe having friends over, lighting candles? How's your studio setup looking like?
There's nothing like being in the same room as people to write music. I think nothing will really ever compare with that. Because it's just fun, and then if you kind of start vibing, then you get the drinks in or this or that, and it can just become like a very fun thing, and you kind of it's more than just writing music for this person or that person, and you actually want to make music, and I think that's something I really miss.
Yeah. Alto, are you back?
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, she was disconnected there for a minute.
Sorry.
And yeah. So we're just having a conversation, talking about, we're talking about music, obviously. And I'm fully aware that you could have possibly released an album, but you didn't. Was this a deliberate choice to release EPs and not an album?
Yeah, I think I wanted to hold off for a while. I just didn't think I was quite ready for that big step. I still had a lot of working out what kind of artist I wanted to be. And I think, and I just wanted to get out loads and loads of music, because I love getting music out there. And I think I was able to do that with like little bits here, EPs here and there. And I think, I got to explore lots of weird and different sounds in the process of doing so. And I've ended up with this debut album, Why Do We Shake in the Cold? Kind of an accumulation of all of that different stuff, the best bits. And now it's here.
Besides making... Sorry about that, Sabi. Besides making like music in abundance, what would you say was the catalyst that made you say, you know what, not an EP this time, not an EP again, but a full body of work?
I think it's some of the songs that I had written, and I thought, wow, these are, I guess, a lot more epic, a lot bigger, and it was time as well. I mean, it's quite strange that I've been releasing music like properly and professionally on quite a big scale for like 5 years, and I don't have an album, and it was just it's quite strange that was happening. So it was time, and also I think the music got better, but I guess other people will be the judge of that.
Of all the stories that you've been telling us through EPs and just dropping as singles, what are some of the key things you feel like we might learn about you with the album that we possibly haven't heard about you before?
I think so. I guess musically, I come from a background of playing in bands and guitar music and indie music, stuff like that. So I think what's really cool about this album is I bring a lot of that into the electronic sound. So don't get me wrong, there's all these housey kind of dancey stuff as well, but there's some real good musical moments there as well that come from, you know, my love of Kings of Leon and Arctic Monkeys, The Strokes, and all of that stuff that I kind of grew up on and wanted to be part of. I think I kind of take bits of that and mash it all up together with the electronic stuff to, you know, make something different.
Coming back to the electronic sound, do you think that the many sub-genres that there are to this sound has bastardized it in any way? Or would you say, you know what, it's evolution and we'll see what happens?
Yeah, I definitely am in the camp of I don't think there's no point in everything sounding the same. I think it's amazing that, you know, you get half electronic, half this or that kind of. I love that there's so many different versions of it now. So I'm definitely a fan of that. And I think I've always said there's no point of making something if it's not original or different. And I think it always has to, otherwise what's the point, you know?
And talking about originality and subgenres, you know, hip hop has a whole lot of that, and with electronic music, as you just said. But there was a genre that also we fell in love with it in South Africa. Our station YFM gave it some airtime. Dubstep. What happened to dubstep?
Well,
I think dubstep was a moment.
There was definitely a moment. It kind of turned into trap, didn't it? Yeah, which I absolutely loved. I remember I discovered trap music, not hip hop trap, but you know, the dance trap. I discovered that at university in clubs for the first time, so I have a very fond memory of that. But I think, you know, the sounds from dubstep and all that stuff, I think the sounds kind of were taken out of that format and now put into electronic music in different ways, you know, like, because it was very interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think people get wrong when it comes to the electronic genre? Or do you think there's a particular misconception because people just think it needs to sound a particular way and then they can emulate the sound, or it can be exported and someone claims ownership over what it sounds like? But what is the biggest misconception that people have over electronic music?
I think a lot of people, when they're making it, a lot of people kind of get lazy with it, you know, like taking in loops from this, like they have, bam, there's your drums, that, bam, there's the bass and that. And that's what I was talking about earlier. It can be a lot more original and organic and live and full of emotion and soul. And I think that's a misconception about electronic music. And that's kind of what I'm trying to disprove with this album, the fact that you can put emotion, lyrics, soul into electronic music.
Can you reveal any features on the album, people that you've worked with?
I guess the only proper feature is rudimental. But the rest are all my tracks, but I do work a lot with other artists. There's a guy called Totally Extinct Enormous Dinosaurs that I love working with. I was actually a big fan of him growing up, and to be able to work with him now is great. I've been working with Jackknife Lee, who's done a lot of really cool stuff, and but this all the music in here is mainly my own, but the collaborations are coming independently.
Oh, okay, that's different. So does that mean like you're gonna have like two projects coming out seamlessly?
Well, the album is mine, that's all my music, and you know, I've kind of put myself out there on other people's records as well, so there's a lot of really cool stuff coming.
What's the genre that nobody knows that you love? Is there like a secret, like a guilty pleasure that you have when it comes to music or particular genre?
There is a guilty pleasure that I have, and I absolutely
What
love
is it?
cheesy American pop country music.
For real? Like
Yeah.
Taylor Swift?
I don't know, kind of. You know what? It's easy listening, and I like the chords. I can just sit back and it's nice.
Yeah.
That is my guilty
Yeah.
pleasure. Don't judge me solely on that. I promise I love cool music as well.
We trust
Yeah.
you. We believe you.
We definitely do believe you. I know that it's going to be a big weekend for you. Album is dropping this Friday. I saw the visuals to Why Do We Shake in the Cold.
Yep.
But before we even talk about the album dropping on Friday, there's something I picked up with your videos. They movies. Nam was a movie. Why Do We Shake in the Cold is also a movie. It's not your traditional visuals, for electronic or dance music where it's a party. You always seem to tell stories and it gives a totally different meaning to the actual music. Is that from your side or it's the team? Because your videos are always amazing.
I always, in every aspect of it, wanted it to be a bit. It's like what we were talking about earlier with the music. It's deeper than just, party electronic music. And don't get me wrong, there's a place for, the fun records, like Cola, for example. But yeah, I think with my stuff, I always wanted it to be a little deeper, a little bit more meaningful, and again, a bit different.
All right, album is dropping on Friday. Why Do We Shake in the Cold? Is it going to be available everywhere? Are you running with Why Do We Shake in the Cold as a leading single? Are you going to drop another single on Friday off the album?
Well, I went with. So obviously, I've got the song "Why Do We Shake in the." That was a lot of questions, by the way. I've got a lot. I've got a lot of.
Sorry.
I've got I used the "Why Do We Shake in the Cold" is a song that I've got out, and I wanted to use that as the title for the whole album because it really embodies what the whole thing's about. It's about human connection, people coming together, why people need other people, and that song is obviously a metaphor. Well, not obviously, it is a metaphor for we shake in the cold to let other people know that we need them close by, like a visual representation of to show that we need them. And I think that's the metaphor that really sums up what the whole album's about. There will be another single on Friday. It's called "Back to My Bed," and it's one of my favorite from the album, and it's a really great song.
In all your years involved in the industry, who would you say is the most underrated electronic artist? And if you could, who would you put on? And who would you collaborate with?
Who would I collaborate? I think underrated. Oh, I don't know. That's not fair because he's pretty. I guess so. Like I said, I was working with Teed, Totally Extinct Enormous Dinosaurs. I don't know if you've heard of him over there too much, but he's been around for a while, and he's. I was a big fan of him growing up because he merged the indie vocals with electronic music, and I thought that was really cool. That was one of my inspirations for kind of going down that route. If I could work with anyone, that's a difficult one for me because I like not knowing what I'm working with someone with, and I think that's where you get the best results. Otherwise, I'm just open to working with anyone. I absolutely love it, especially people in different genres that maybe I've never heard of, and that's where I've gotten some of the best songs.
True that. I know you're a big fan of Cardi B. Have you reached out eventually?
Do you know what? I don't think she'd reply to me. I feel like her DMs are full to the brim. I don't think she's replying. She's replying to Elderbrook.
Please make an electronic version of WAP. Please make an electronic version of WAP and send it.
Because you did an amazing rendition to Tootsie Slide, so it'll be good to see you. Do something in hip hop.
You know what? Maybe I could do a country music cover of WAP.
That'd be dope.
And I won't show my grandparents.
Hey, that could be a vibe. I see this happening.
I think I'm going to do it, guys. I'm going to do it.
Do.
Go for it.
Please do.
Elderbrook, thank you very much, bro, for chatting to us. I know that time is up, but we try to ask as much as we can. We do love your music in South Africa, and trust me, from the north to the south, you can definitely fill up a room. And when you come to South Africa, just go to other spaces than the ones with tall buildings.
Exactly. No, thank you, man. Thank you for having me. Thank you for chatting.